さあ始めよう。
Yo, is Geats good yet? What's that? Ladies and gentlemen, we've made it. The finale of Geats. Outside of this, we have nothing else besides the winter film to look forward to. The hell is that? Anyway, since this is it, I figured I'd dress for the occasion, as we pay respects for this week's Geats. Things start off almost like how the show started. Kay was eating noodles with Sarah, Neon is making videos, except, for some odd reason, Gene is here with Ace's coin. He's here to pray to Ace, and Sumari is also here as well. So, what happened to lead to these sorts of events? Well, you see, last week's cliffhanger, Sumari did shoot Ace, but as it turned out, Black Sumari just got inside of her. And sure, Ace will be back, but Suiru's gonna remake the entire world anyway, even bypassing the audience to make sure that the narrative he wants is the one that sticks. But first, we gotta bring down the morale by letting folks know that Ace is no longer in the realm of the living. And that was exactly what he was hoping for. Because now is the time for the moment we've all been waiting for. The final battle. With Regard Omega taking on Tycoon and Nago straight to the wall. They come back to it with a double rider kick that, of course, he's gonna have some hack abilities that were never alluded to coming into work. But that's when Buffa shows up with his Jama Shin form that he still has handy this entire time. So it's time to hit that reverse card and get those drivers out of existence. But as he's about to cave in Keiwa's face, he stops. Because Buffa is on his legs. I don't see how that would have prevented you. Just go in. So, nothing left to do but say Ace 3 times.
Geats.
Ace.
And, like the Candyman, he is here. That's right, taking a blow to the head has completely allowed this man to become a god. And he's been prepping for this moment since mommy time. So it's CG bike action and regular gun fu. But since he's now God, he can give everyone back their OG suits, letting the others get a piece of that action. Getting in those collective licks, followed by a revolve on kicks, it's now time to showcase off the weapons. With Tycoon stroking Buffalo for a dual blow, and Nago with just weapon buffs. But since Suiru still has time hacks, Geats gets to show off that gods are beyond all of that, and kicks himself right inside Suiru? I guess now that he's reached Zordon levels of martyrdom, it's now time to send those Ace Wave throughout the world, making it into a brand new aceless world, yet a happier world. And so, it is a new world. No DGP, their gate fully closed off, management gone. But then why is Jane? You know what? No, never mind. He's there to snatch up Sumari, as there's a new DGP that's completely wholesome in the works. Sounds kind of boring. But that shrine where Ace now sleeps, others have placed their collective wishes. Wait a moment. The hell are Ben and John wishing for? Oh, happiness for Ojo-sama. Bro, why they gotta crop it like that? Win wants to start the band ship again. Daichi wants Jamato coexistence. Azuma wants that meat. Sarah wants nothing and everything at the same time. And Neon wants to get laid. And Kyun came back in time just to lay down that future pipe. While Keiwa still wants world peace. And Ace will continue granting those wishes. So with that, the passing of the torch is set, and this series is now one for the history books. Geats, as a series, had its ups and downs. It took itself seriously from the outset and tried playing the smart card, even if it dropped the ball far too many times to count and took us down some paths that we just didn't like. This episode barely stuck the landing. It wobbled getting there with the ultimate ass pull. So, what is this episode's rating? It's a solid Buffo B. What helped was the emotional aspect that they put into it with Ace, but it's not to say that him becoming a god was good or even great on that standard. They really made him a martyr, dying for what he believed in. Though, this honestly could have happened at any point in time within the series post-meeting Mitsume. His entire desire was to meet his mom, and he was cursed with reincarnation due to it. But apparently, meeting her fulfilled those means, so it undid the cycle of reincarnation. But with his newfound god powers, his biggest limitation was the human element. So they managed to get rid of that. But it kind of seems like a very last minute plan. Since he was going all in on Sueru earlier, had he actually defeated him, there wouldn't have been a need for him to pull this extreme measure. Once again, things like this just continue to happen within the show, without any real explainer to how we got here by sprinkling crumbs. But just going there and saying that the trail was there the whole time. But as I say this periodically, when it comes to reviewing these episodes, I watch them multiple times in the span of just a day. And in these scenarios, it just becomes a little bit much because those elements really weren't fully alluded to. Now, I am probably in the minority when it comes to these thoughts. I've been seeing people online heralding Geats as the greatest writer season, perfection, and so on and so forth. But I can't really follow that trend, because of course, my opinions are my own, and you're free to agree or disagree. And honestly, looking at it, there's only a handful of us that really go into this doing weekly reviews when it comes to these shows. So in terms of the digestion portion of things, it's a rare few of us that actually have been here from the journey from episode 1 all the way up until now without a single break. But now, given how this show is structured, let's give this whole series its rating. So join me for the full series rating time! So listen, Geats came out the gate swinging with episode 1, which ended up getting an A ranking. Then there's the encounter arc, which was the following episodes going up to episode 9, which averaged at a B ranking. The conspiracy arc that ended with episode 16 and probably one of the high points for the show, averaged an A. While here comes everyone's favorite, the Divergence arc, which was completely swimming in B's. Next up is the Lamentation arc, which that one also ended up averaging a B as well. But that was due to the Dapan rating being offset by an S rating at the end, while the Yearning arc fully hits those declines with multiple Fs, bringing it down to a D. And finally, the Creation arc gets a D. Thus, finally, making Geats, as a whole, an average of a C. The show started incredibly strong. It laid a good foundation, pulled the rug from under us, gave us peak revelations, and then introduced plot threads that went nowhere. This was all due to the constant resettings of the games. Other threads that stuck around because reasons, but then, as we got closer to the end, it just didn't tie the majority of the loose ends, and just kept throwing more at us. This is why this show had a really peak introduction. It was probably the best introduction arc for a writer season in many years. But then, like a lot of shows nowadays, it started fumbling towards the middle. Girori was the best villain that the show had, and they took him out just to bring him back later on. Daichi was a character that just didn't need redemption, but they did it anyway. And now look at him. He's just Archimetal with no grudge. And also, remember Archimetal? Mans did nothing except merge with a Jamato to show Buffa's new hacks up, just for all that to be undone by the end of that arc. There were a lot of fascinating elements that I really want to know more of. Specifically, these future people. But they never gave us an actual look at their society. They just told us about it. But then the issue comes at this tail end, as the only way in and out of the time period is through a warp gate that somehow gets reopened and even then gets closed again. And in this episode, we see that Jean and Kyun are still making appearances even with the gate closed. Geats probably has some of the best fighting choreography out of any other writer show to date. And I say show because Shin Kamen Rider was a film. And I would honestly recommend this show based off of that alone. The story, for as great as it started out, burned through its creative fuse in the latter half, as the show just kept giving us rules only to undo them later on. And I could go on and on and on, but that's why we do those Friday night live streams. Either way, it's been a ride. Sharing another year, talking to you all each week about Kamen Rider, as we now enter the third entry in the franchise that I'll be reviewing week to week with Gachard. So with that, let's take a quick look through all the memories had along the way.
私に内緒でこんなに GPS 仕込むなんてそうでしょ
And the mamma mia, it's the final battle. Oh my god. Bandai. A lot of times, when it comes to these bits, I think of them kind of on the spot. Even when I'm like watching the episode, or maybe later on while I'm having shower thoughts, or sometimes, it's while I'm driving, there's a red light, I don't happen to notice it, so I slam on the brakes, spilling barbecue McRib sauce all over me. Okay. Meanwhile, Jamatos... We weren't kidding when we said that the next Kamen Rider season was completely boring. So, we just go back in time via Time Kabuto and do time shenanigans and just kill time that way. Let him cook. Literally. What the fuck, Zio? I've been waiting outside of Denny's parking lot for a week! Alright, let's get... I got this hot new release via Time Kabuto! Now seriously, back to you. It's been almost... Oh my god, what happened here? Say hello to King Form! You look like you run the Great Value version of the Playboy Mansion.
You look like you're about to sell reverse mortgages on the Vegas Strip.
Introducing My Pet Mommy.
My pet mommy.
Why don't you give it a shot? I'm sorry for undercooking that chicken and giving you the runs! All this while has visiting hours. Geats in my sheets.
You mean I have privilege?
Buffa still had his hacks. I quit. So, what did you think about this week's Geats? Did it stick the landing? Are you satisfied with the end result? And where does this show and series rank overall for you? Anyway, that's it for me. I appreciate you all watching these videos week to week with me. Even if you're not subscribed, I still thank you for sticking around. And until next time, we max out those credit cards with Gachard, and I will see you all next time. Bye.